Hello everyone, my name is Sniping is Fun, and I welcome you all back to my next, and this is a long time coming given I haven't done a video in this for quite a few months right now, since late 2019 sometime, my next The 5 list. I know I haven't done one in freaking forever and I'm sorry, and I do have about 2 to 3 planned right now. I'm going to record one for you, this one right here, right now for you guys today, and then I'll get on to the other ones in the future. I am still in the middle of what I dubbed the season 2 of my The 5 list. Like when I used to do them, I didn't name any specific season. I basically mentioned that now all my old The 5 lists from like a couple years back is an Omega season 1, which is like 40 some episodes. Not all, and now I'm separating them into seasons, and no, they're not all gonna go 40 some episodes. I'm about 10 or 11 as far as the last time I looked so far, The 5 list from season 2, and I'm gonna probably do about 3 to 4 more, end at about 14, 15, 16 range, end it, take a break, and then get onto a season 3 sometime by the summer. So yeah, there's that. So I can work on other videos in the meantime, especially Smash stuff, or maybe top 10s or reviews or something drawing wise or whatever. But yes, this is my next The 5 list. I have, and obviously you're going to see the thumbnail when I do eventually change the thumbnail. You see the name of the video, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's going to be an anime manga based topic. I have the 5 right here. But like for those of you out there that are fans of anime and manga, you do know that more often than not, anime series are usually based off of manga, like graphic novels, mangas, comic books from Japan. For those of you that don't know, even though I'm assuming if you know anime, you know manga, so you know what manga is. But usually it's based off of manga. Usually it's an adaptation of a manga, although there are original anime out there, both in movie form, in series form, but then that all it happens. Like there are anime out there that are coming from original creations and now are based off manga. On the flip side, there are manga that probably sometimes, and this is rare because I don't think this happens as much, they're based off anime. The anime original adaptation comes first, and then they make a manga based off of it. It goes either which way, but usually it's either they're original both ways, or they're some sort of adaptation of the opposite, or something or other. But then there's also, so for those of you out there that have been fans of anime and manga for so long, know that there's certain manga out there that never got an anime adaptation. They may have got like a video game or like a light novel or a live action TV series or something, but they never got a specific anime. And it's weird because some of which I looked into research on, and like I said, I'm not super and I've said this before, I'm not super familiar in the world of manga like I am in the world of anime. So there are mangas out there that I'm I don't know if they got an anime or not. So like I did my research, the 5 I picked for this I think are all good because nothing came up with an anime series. But if there's somewhere in the depths of the internet somewhere there is an anime for any of this stuff, I'm sorry, but I did the research I did, nothing came up. But yeah, this is going to be my 5, the 5 anime that never got an anime, the 5 manga that never got an anime adaptation that deserve an anime adaptation. But let's shorten it down to be something easy. The 5 manga that deserve an anime adaptation. I did some research here. If you're fans of these series, maybe one day we could hopefully see some of them. A lot of them are older manga, so that might not be likely because a lot of anime that come out usually comes out around the time the manga is being written, or if later on, sometimes shortly after. But some of these ended like quite a while ago, and some of them kind of ended within the last couple of years. But in the world of anime, we've seen older series come from out of the blue, and they made manga based off stuff, anime based off stuff from the freaking like early 2000s, 90s, and 80s, pretty much within the last decade. So anything's possible in the world of manga and anime, and these are the 5, me doing the research on what hasn't gotten an anime adaptation yet that I feel deserve one. So let's get started with number 1. And that number 1 goes to Sunken Rock, which is basically, it was an anime series, manga series that was written by, and I'm going to mess up probably some of these names, so I don't know if some of these are pseudonym names or like, names so they don't reveal their real name, because I do know some Japanese creators don't like revealing their true self, like their look, like their face, or their, their name even, so this might be a fictional name, but it said, when I did my research, it was written by Boichi. It went from 2006 to 2016 with 25 volumes. It was published by Shonen Gohosha. I'm sorry if I'm going to mispronounce some of these names. I'm not super big on Japanese names. And it was, published in Young King magazine. It's basically a series that's basically about Yakuza, about gang members and gang fighting and stuff like that. It basically is a story about a character named Ken, who's kind of like that roughhouse student. He basically is like like trying, he's one that likes to get into fights and everything, and he has a friend named Yuman who moves over to Korea to become a police officer. She hates gangs, she hates all that type of stuff. He goes over there to try to become a police officer with her or something like that. If I did research, doesn't work out for him. He goes and saves someone's life, and then eventually pretty much becomes the leader of a new gang, like a yakuza. He becomes, like, something happens to their old leader. He becomes the leader of a new yakuza, which he tries to hide from her because, like I said, she hates gang members and gangs and yakuza and all that stuff. And basically, it's just a story of pretty much like him running the gang, him trying to keep his this life of his that he's now running a gang over in Korea away from her, which, if you know manga and anime and the storytelling, eventually she'll find out and everything, so on and so forth. And I just think it was a really interesting concept. The art style looks really interesting. It's different enough. It's not like that cliche, like, shonen type series. I don't think it's a shonen. It's a seinen, I think. I don't know. I forgot. It's published by Shonen Gohasha. I don't know if that means it was in Shonen magazines. It was in Young King magazine, which I don't know if that's an equivalent of a Shonen Jump or not. But it seems like it's a blend of like something that's not too deep in seinen, but also not too far into shonen. It's like a mixed series, and I think the concept sounds interesting. And we got, and Yakuza and gang war is pretty much a mainstay in a lot of anime and manga series. I think it'd be really cool to see, Sun Can Rock. My second series is probably going to be the oldest series on this, one of the oldest series on this list. And that's going to go to Vagabond, which is basically like a samurai series. It was written by Takahiko Inoue, published by Kodansha. It was in Weekly Morning Magazine from 1998 to the present. So this is one that's actually still going on to this day as far as my research goes. The only one in my 5 here that still is going on. So that could possibly be a reason for why they haven't done anything with it yet, because it's still a long, ongoing series. But at the same time, they could do different seasons, so I have no idea. They could do seasons that lead up, because they have like good friggin' 20 years plus of content to do. So far, it's on 37 volumes. It basically takes place in like the 1600s during like the Warring States period in Japan, I think, like the feudal Japan kind of thing. 2 main characters. There's the main character, which is I think the one on the actual cover as far as my research goes here. Takezo Shinmen and the Matahachi Honidan. Basically, they were in a battle. They joined up like the samurai. They joined into a battle. They survive the battle, but they separate in order to survive. The main character, Takezo, becomes like a vagabond, like a wanderer. He trains to fight strong opponents and everything. And like the person he left behind, like he's still alive, but people don't believe he's still alive. He gets accused of being a criminal, of letting this guy die that continued their family lineage and whatnot. And there's hostility towards him because of his actions and how he, how hostile he could be, and he could be into fights, and he's like that. I think it's an interesting concept, and like I said, with gang warfare and Yakuza, like with Sun Can Rock, samurais are another major thing, and not just anime and manga, but in storytelling in general. And I like the art style. This art style would look really good as an anime. So not only the art, like I said, the story works well, and the art style works well. Like everything blends well together. It could be original looking anime. It doesn't have the cliche look of like most other anime. It has an interesting story that's set in the period of time that a lot of anime and manga seem to adapt and base a lot of stuff off of. And I think it'd be cool. I would love to see like anime based off of this. And if it's still ongoing, they could start. This could be seasons long. They could start it now and then probably do something by the time they finally get an ending to it. Number 3 is going to go to Liar Game. Now, this is one that actually had a live-action series, but I'd seen nothing on it actually getting an anime. It was written by Shinobu Kaitani, published by Shueisha. It was in Weekly Young Jump magazine, so it was in some sort of Shonen Young Jump type thing. From 2005 to 2015, has 19 volumes, and basically it is a series about the Liar Game tournament, which is basically contestants are encouraged to, they get a package, and the main character, now Kanzaki, which is her, basically gets like this package of like 100 million yen, and contestants are basically encouraged to cheat, lie, and do whatever it takes to basically obtaining other contestants' money. So it's basically a big game of taking money from other contestants and finding the best way to get all the money from them, because once they lose all their money, they're out of the game, and the losers are basically forced to basically pay the debt that they lose. Like, all the losses they make, they have to pay back to the corporation that's running this entire tournament. And in the process of her learning this tournament and like going through it, she basically seeks assistance from a con man, Shinichi Akiyama, and he basically helps her along the way, and they basically work together through other contestants as the series goes on, and basically so they can win the thing and defeat the corporation that's running the liar game. I think that sounds really cool. It's kind of interesting. I'm trying to think, like, there's other anime out there like that. I'm trying to think of the name of some of these series. Like I said, like, I'm blanking on it right now. But there are other anime that kind of have similar premises about money, contestants being forced to battle through like bribes and like kind of like money kind of stuff, like challenges and debt and everything. I think it'd be cool. It's an older series. It's only been done for, it only finished about 5 years ago, so it's still fairly fresh. And I think I heard that it was a fairly popular series, and it was popular enough to get a live action series. But an anime, that would be cool, because, you know, animation, you could do a lot more than live action and whatnot. And I think it'd be a cool series to get, Liar Game. Number 4 goes to MPD Psycho. Multiple Personality Detective Psycho, I think is what the name of the series is fully called. This was written by Eiji Otsuka, published, I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing these names. I'm really sorry. Published by Kadokawa Shoten. It was basically in different magazines. This is like the only like manga on my entire 5 here that was actually in multiple different magazines. Shonen Ace, Comic Charge, Young Ace. It was written from 1997 to 2016, 24 volumes. Basically, it's a series about Yosuke Kobayashi. He's a detective, and he's on a serial killer case. The serial killer basically dismembers their victims, and he eventually has his girlfriend sent to him, dismembered but still alive. This drives him like crazy to hit 2 different personalities. He becomes a crazy, like, dissociative identity disorder. So basically multiple personalities, which is basically MPD, multiple personality detective. One personality is a cool-headed detective, basically like his normal personality. The other one's a complete reckless psychopath that would do anything to do something. He eventually finds the killer and murders them, which pretty much puts him in jail. But then he gets released, and he gets hired into like another independent detective agency, and they use him and hire him on to kind of do their own, detective type stuff. And the series is about him going through different crimes and different stuff like that. And I'm like, that's really, really cool. You can really do a lot with a multiple personality type thing, and the distinct difference between him, his personalities, would be kind of cool to see. And we've seen stuff that tackles stuff like that, like Psychopaths and stuff, which has like certain characters in it that are like that, and certain like scenarios of worlds like that. Different darker anime have, it's like a horror anime too, as far as I remember. A horror manga too, if I recall, or horror-ish, more crime, suspense type stuff. And I think you could really have some cool imagery, especially the fact that one of the manga covers has a giant brain. I would like to see it, and I'm sure a lot of people probably, especially that read the manga, would too. And it only finished 4 years ago, so it's still in the realm of fairly recent. And number 5 goes to the one I probably think would be the most interesting of these 5, besides maybe Liar Game and probably Sunken Rock. The one I probably want the most also, because it sounds like it has the most interesting promise, Doubt. Doubt was basically in monthly Shonen Gangan from 2007 to 2009, probably the shortest series on here. All the other ones had like freaking double digits. Only 4 volumes. It was written by Yoshiki Tonagai, and it was published by Square Enix. That is like they do tend to publish anime and manga quite a bit too. Like they're like one company that does that, video game company. It's about like the whole concept of this series is that basically it's about a phone game called Rabbit Doubt, which players are basically rabbits in a colony, and one player is randomly chosen to basically act as a wolf infiltrating the group. Basically, each round the rabbits try to guess who the wolf is, as the rabbits are basically eaten off, killed off, until the wolf is left. The whole point is basically to find the wolf, the liar, in the whole group of 5, or whatever the group number is, and kill them. They must die in order to survive. Basically, the whole series is basically about 5 people that are knocked out unconscious, and they awaken up in like this abandoned like hospital, basically filled with security cameras. Feels a lot like the nunnery game stuff, like 999 and Last Requiem, Virtue's Last Reward. It really sounds like something like that, and kind of sounds like Danganronpa in some instances too. Basically, they're knocked unconscious. They find out that one of the 5 has been hanged, and they're basically their mission throughout being locked up in this freaking abandoned like hospital. Who's the killer of the group that's remaining? Who is the killer? And basically, it's like I only read on so much. Like, there's a lot of twists and turns, and like certain people are killers, but then certain not, and so on and so forth. It could be it's a horror. First off, this is legit horror. Like I said, MPD Psycho is kind of like suspense horror thriller kind of thing. This, as far as I read up, is a straight up horror manga, and you could really get some cool imagery, especially with the whole creepy rabbit head, that thing that you got right there, and like the killing and murdering of people, and trying to figure out who out of your small group of people that these main characters are being held hostage and watched on security cameras in this hospital, who the killer is of the 5. I think it'd be really cool. So that goes down to my 5 manga that I feel deserve an anime adaptation are MPD Psycho, The Liar Game, Vagabond, Sun Can Rock, and Doubt. Put in the comment section what you guys think. Have any of you actually even read these manga? And would you, if you read them, would you want to see an anime adaptation of them? Do you think they would turn out good? Do you think, which one out of these 5 would you want to see the most? And outside of these 5, what other manga out there that have never gotten an anime adaptation would you guys want to see? Put in the comment section down below. We can discuss it, have fun, and my name is Snipers Fun. Peace. Please subscribe if you want to. Have a lovely day, and stay tuned for the 5 list when I finally get to it. I have one, like I said, about 1 to 3 more of them planned for this season, and then season 2 will be over. And season 3 will be eventually in the future sometime, probably by the summer. But yeah, put in the comment section down below, discuss it down there, and we can have fun talking about it. And I'll see you later in the next video.